There's a reason soldiers are respected, not because they talk tough, but because they are forged tough. Every man faces battles, some on the outside, most on the inside. And if you're not trained, those battles will break you. But if you develop the mindset, the discipline, the readiness of a soldier, nothing can stop you. This is why every man should train like a soldier. Listen carefully. Step 1, discipline over motivation. Motivation is a spark. It feels good, it hits fast, and it disappears just as quickly. It's unreliable, unstable, emotional. It shows up when the sun is out, when life feels easy, when your body is rested and your mind is calm. But when the rain comes, when the weight of life presses against you, when your mind is heavy and your muscles ache, motivation vanishes. That's where most men stop. They wait for the feeling to return, for inspiration to strike again, and in that waiting, their progress dies. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if your mood isn't right. It doesn't care about comfort. Discipline is obedience to purpose. It's waking up early when your body screams to stay in bed. It's training when your legs are shot. It's doing the hard thing because it must be done, not because you feel like doing it. Discipline is what separates those who talk from those who act, those who dream from those who build. A soldier doesn't rely on motivation. He can't. When you're cold, wet, exhausted, breathing hard, and surrounded by chaos, there is no motivational speech to pull you through. There is only training, habit, discipline. You execute because you have conditioned your mind to obey your mission. You show up because commitment overrides comfort. Real discipline is simple, not easy. It's waking up before dawn, tying your boots, and stepping into the grind. It's keeping your promises to yourself. It's the quiet, relentless, invisible work that no one sees, but everyone eventually notices. That's where confidence comes from. Not hype, not empty affirmations, but repeated action in the absence of comfort. Discipline builds identity. When you do what you said you would do consistently, you begin to see yourself differently. You stop negotiating with your weakness. You stop waiting for the right moment. You become the kind of man who follows through. And that is powerful because when you trust yourself, you become dangerous in the best way. You become dependable when others fold. You become steady when others panic. Discipline also unlocks freedom. Freedom from doubt, freedom from fear, freedom from hesitation. Because when you've done the work day after day, the burden of uncertainty fades. You don't have to wonder if you're capable. You know you are because you've proven it in private. Discipline is a daily war against the weaker version of yourself, and every time you win, you forge a stronger mind, a stronger body, a stronger life. Step 2, physical readiness. Physical readiness is not about looking good in the mirror or building muscles for show. It's about preparing your body to endure stress, hardship, and unpredictability. A man who is physically ready can move with purpose, respond with speed, and withstand the pressure that life throws at him. Strength is not just about lifting weight, it's about being hard to break. When your body is conditioned, every part of life becomes easier. Walking long distances, carrying heavy loads, protecting the people you care about, and pushing through exhaustion when others quit. Physical readiness equips you with the ability to handle discomfort without folding, to keep going when your lungs burn, your legs shake, and your mind begins to doubt. It's proof that you've invested in yourself, that you've built a structure capable of supporting responsibility, duty, and action. For a soldier, physical training isn't optional, it's survival. If your body fails, the mission fails. That mindset should apply to every man. You don't know when life will demand more from you than you're comfortable giving. You may need to carry someone, defend yourself, or push through an emergency that lasts hours, not seconds. The world doesn't pause because you're tired or out of shape. It keeps moving, and the demands don't soften, so you train now before you need it. You run when your legs are heavy, you lift when your muscles ache, you stretch until your flexibility improves, and you practice endurance until fatigue becomes familiar, not feared. Physical readiness is a lifelong commitment to resilience, not a temporary goal. Every drop of sweat is a rehearsal for real adversity. When you push your body in training, you're teaching yourself that fatigue is not the limit, but the beginning of growth. You learn to breathe through the strain, to stay focused under pressure, to keep your mind calm when your heart is pounding. You don't panic because your body has been there before. You've carried that load, climbed that hill, pushed through that pain, and every time you repeat it, your threshold increases. You become harder to shake, harder to stop. That strength carries over into every environment: work, family, crisis, conflict. The man who trains is the man who is ready, not just in his muscles, but in his posture, his alertness, and his calm. Physical readiness builds a body that doesn't crumble under weight, a heartbeat that doesn't rush with fear, and a presence that others can rely on. Step 3. Mental fortitude. Mental fortitude is the armor of the mind, the unseen strength that keeps you standing when everything around you is collapsing. It's the ability to stay calm in chaos, controlled under pressure, and focused when fear whispers in your ear. Most people break long before their bodies give out because their minds were never trained for struggle. They crumble at the first hint of uncertainty, discomfort, or doubt. Mental fortitude isn't natural. It's built through deliberate exposure to challenge. You earn it in moments when quitting feels easier than continuing, when no one is watching, when the only voice you hear is your own telling you to stop. A strong mind doesn't silence that voice. It overrules it. It acts in spite of fear. It keeps moving through uncertainty. It pushes one more step, one more rep, one more painful inch forward because it understands that survival, success, and victory belong to those who refuse to break. A soldier's mind is forged not in comfort, but in hardship. In the rain, in the cold, in the heat, when sleep is gone and strength is fading, the mind is forced to adapt. It learns that panic helps no one. It learns to think under pressure, to make decisions when there's no time to hesitate. Training conditions the brain to see challenge not as a threat, but as a command. Move forward. When you train your mind like this, everyday problems lose their power. Stress becomes manageable. Fear becomes familiar. You learn to analyze, execute, and keep your emotions from controlling your actions. Mental fortitude gives you a sense of stillness when others are overwhelmed. It turns adversity into fuel rather than paralysis. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What must I do next?" Mental fortitude is also about emotional control. It means refusing to be ruled by anger, impatience, or frustration. It forces you to slow down when the world speeds up. It teaches you to observe the situation, not react blindly to it. With a strong mind, you respond with clarity, not chaos. This makes you effective in crisis, reliable under stress, and dangerous to obstacles because you don't flinch. You adapt, strategize, press forward. A fortified mind understands that pain is temporary, but quitting is permanent. It understands that fear is natural, but submission is optional. When you strengthen your mind, you shift the balance of power. The world doesn't push you around anymore. You push back. Step 4, responsibility and duty. Responsibility is the weight every man carries, whether he acknowledges it or not. Duty is the compass that directs that weight toward purpose. Most men live distracted, waiting for life to hand them direction, but strength and honor are forged in the crucible of conscious obligation. A man who understands responsibility doesn't ask who will step up or who will take charge. He does it himself. He sees the people, the work, the situations that depend on his action, and he answers. He understands that failure isn't just a personal shortcoming, it ripples outward, affecting those who rely on him. Responsibility demands preparation, discipline, and the willingness to endure discomfort so that others don't have to. It is what separates men who simply exist from men who lead, protect, and create order in a chaotic world. Duty is the natural extension of responsibility. It is the internal call that drives a man to act even when the task is hard, thankless, or unseen. A soldier doesn't wait for orders to serve the mission. He understands that the mission exists beyond himself, beyond convenience, beyond desire. In life, every man has a mission in miniature: family, career, community, and personal integrity. Duty compels him to step forward when others hesitate, to endure when others quit, and to prioritize what is right over what is easy. It forces a man to hold himself accountable first, to lead by example, and to carry the burden of his choices without complaint. Those who shirk responsibility are not free. They are trapped by weakness, indecision, and regret. Those who embrace it are empowered because they know that action breeds control, not comfort. Responsibility and duty also cultivate respect and trust. When a man consistently shows up, follows through, and honors his obligations, others see strength without arrogance. They rely on him not because he demands it, but because he proves himself dependable in every circumstance. This reliability becomes a force multiplier. It inspires others to rise, it creates stability in uncertain environments, and it builds cohesion in teams, families, and communities. Moreover, carrying responsibility shapes character in ways comfort never can. The sacrifices made, the challenges faced, and the burdens borne leave a man resilient, humble, and capable. He develops foresight, patience, and endurance because he knows that his choices affect more than just himself, and he approaches every action with a seriousness that transforms ordinary effort into meaningful impact. Step 5. Brotherhood and leadership. Brotherhood is not built in comfort. It is forged in shared struggle, sweat, and adversity. Men who train together, fight together, and endure hardship together form bonds that cannot be broken by distance, time, or circumstance. True brotherhood is forged in accountability. It's the willingness to push each other past excuses, to call out weakness, to demand more when no one else will. It is built on trust. Trust that your brothers will have your back when it matters most, that they will not falter when the stakes are high, that they will act without hesitation in moments of crisis. Brotherhood teaches loyalty, resilience, and humility. It forces men to rise above ego, to accept criticism, to lead and follow in equal measure. A man who trains in isolation can gain strength, but a man who trains with a brotherhood gains perspective, motivation, and a deeper sense of purpose. He learns that personal glory is fleeting, but collective success endures. Leadership grows naturally from brotherhood. When a man understands the value of trust and accountability, he learns how to guide others through challenge and uncertainty. Leadership is not about authority, it's about influence earned through example, discipline, and courage. The man who trains like a soldier demonstrates to his peers what commitment looks like, and that example inspires action more effectively than orders ever could. Leadership also demands responsibility, making decisions, shouldering the consequences, and standing firm when hesitation or fear threatens the group. A leader builds capacity in those around him, recognizing strengths, compensating for weaknesses, and motivating others to push beyond perceived limits. Leadership is cultivated in the small moments as much as the large ones. Correcting form, encouraging a brother through fatigue, maintaining morale when everything feels heavy. These moments, repeated consistently, shape men who are not just capable individually, but capable of lifting others toward achievement, resilience, and growth. Brotherhood and leadership together form a cycle that strengthens the group and the individual. In training, a man learns to lead with integrity, to communicate with clarity, to act decisively, and to support without hesitation. He also learns to follow, to trust, and to recognize the importance of unity over personal ambition. These lessons translate beyond the gym, battlefield, or training ground. They shape how a man engages with his family, his community, and the world at large. Brotherhood creates the foundation. Leadership builds the structure. Together, they forge a man who is not only strong and capable, but reliable, respected, and ready to face whatever challenges life demands. Step 6. Preparedness for life's battles. Preparedness for life's battles is not a skill reserved for soldiers. It is a necessity for every man. Life is unpredictable, relentless, and unforgiving. Challenges arrive without warning, testing endurance, patience, and resolve. Financial crises, personal loss, health struggles, and unexpected danger are all battles that require more than luck. They demand preparation. A man who trains, plans, and conditions himself mentally and physically doesn't fear these moments because he has rehearsed them in smaller forms. He has built habits that strengthen his body, sharpen his mind, and harden his will. Every rep, every run, every moment of discipline is a rehearsal for the chaos that life inevitably delivers. Preparedness is a mindset. It is the understanding that comfort is temporary, that adversity is guaranteed, and that the ability to endure comes from consistent effort over time. Preparedness is also about anticipation. A man who expects challenges sees them coming before they arrive. He studies the terrain of his life, identifies risks, and develops contingency plans. He understands that failure to prepare is a decision to be overwhelmed. Physical readiness, mental fortitude, discipline, and leadership all converge to create a man capable of facing adversity with clarity and confidence. When a crisis hits, there is no panic, no hesitation, there is action. Preparedness transforms uncertainty into control. It teaches problem solving under pressure, decision-making with limited information, and the ability to act decisively when hesitation could cost everything. A prepared man embraces the uncomfortable, practices resilience, and continually strengthens himself in anticipation of the inevitable trials ahead. Preparedness also demands adaptability. Life's battles rarely follow a predictable path, and the man who relies on rigid routines alone will falter. He must cultivate versatility, mental agility to navigate unexpected scenarios, physical endurance to endure the unknown, and emotional resilience to withstand the stress that accompanies danger or loss. Preparedness is a total system, integrating the lessons of discipline, training, leadership, and accountability into actionable readiness. It is not passive, it is active, continuous, and deliberate. Every decision, every training session, every hardship faced intentionally builds a reservoir of capability that can be drawn upon when life tests limits. Preparedness is ultimately about responsibility to oneself and to those who depend on you, the commitment to not be caught off guard, the refusal to be weak when strength is required, and the determination to meet every challenge head-on with confidence and control. Every man has a battlefield in front of him, some visible, some hidden. Life will test your body, your mind, your spirit, and your will. But the man who trains like a soldier is never caught unprepared. He moves with discipline when others hesitate, stands strong when others falter, and leads when others follow. Strength is not given. It is earned through sweat, sacrifice, and relentless effort. Brotherhood, responsibility, mental toughness, and readiness are not optional. They are the foundation of a life lived with purpose and honor. So rise, step into the grind, push your limits, build the body that endures, the mind that never wavers, and the character that commands respect. Prepare for the battles you know and the ones you don't. Train like a soldier, not for recognition, not for comfort, but because the man you become in the process is the man the world will never be able to break.